Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Cayman, your fanatic. Gee, wow, it's been a while.
it really has been a while. I'm sorry, viewers. I'm sorry to us both. But sometimes life takes precedent.
Yeah. So just a quick rundown. I think the first week we didn't record was because Elaine and I were backpacking.
Right?
That was fun. We went down to a place in Oklahoma, and honestly, like we went with some of our other friends, and we were like preparing for this like big huge climb, because like on the map it was like there's like a tiny incline and there's like a really big incline, and we kind of got lost because the area that we were hiking was like very not labeled well. Like
yeah,
there were like 5 different trails intersecting with each other, and they like didn't really have good markings on which trail was which, so we were just kind of like wandering around for a while.
Yeah.
And then we were like already getting tired, and we were like, damn, we still have like a whole ass mountain we have to go up. And then eventually we like reached a part, and it was like we found like a map with a little dot like "you are here" kind of a thing, and it was like, oh no, we already did the mountain.
Oh gosh.
So,
You didn't even notice it?
I mean, we noticed, but I think we were thinking that we were doing the small mountain, and so we were like, crap, we like this is going to be really hard because we still have a big mountain to do. But no, we just did the big mountain.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
So that made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. We found a nice big field to set up our tents and everything. And then after that, Elaine and I, like literally the day after we got back from camping, flew to New York City, and that was a lot of fun as well.
What'd you do there?
Went to some museums, went to some parks. We tried to eat as many different kinds of food as possible. Eating in New York made us realize how limited food is here. Like there's practically nothing to eat here by comparison.
Damn. I mean, yeah, it's like one of the biggest cities in this,
yeah,
in the world.
But it was like every single restaurant they had vegetarian options for Elena, and like places are open all the time. And
yep.
I feel like if you are trying to eat in Arkansas past like 9 p.m., everything's closed. Like,
dude, same here. Yeah,
it's insane.
It's like you like think about going out to eat with your friends at one point. You're like, oh wait, this is closed. Oh wait, this is also closed. And it's like 8:50.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's like so dumb how early everything closes.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's not like in Europe. In Europe, things close also pretty early. But I mean, like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, nothing is open. So
yeah, well, there's a lot of places around here that are like all day closed on Mondays. Like, I don't know why that's the day everyone has chosen, but a lot of stuff is just closed on Mondays.
That's strange. But overall, the New York was an amazing trip. You guys like went to like a ton of museums and you ate a ton of food.
Yeah. And it was, it was a little chilly, but it was honestly like pretty, because I think it was like the same week that we went when we went with Bijan's class.
Yeah.
But it was a lot colder that time. This time wasn't quite as cold.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my New York people have been telling me basically that there's been no snow, which has been quite depressing for them apparently. But
oh yeah,
it is what it is.
Highlight. Oh, I don't know. I guess probably just like the food and walking around. Like, I feel like the museums were fun and the parks were fun, but just like experiencing the city and just like running around and like hopping on the subway and going different places, just like the overall like adventureness of it.
I agree. Yeah, like that's like
nice.
The one thing about New York that always sticks in my brain is like when we were there as a class, or when I'm there just like hanging out with my sister or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the subway part is such a cool like thing, because you're like, oh, gotta go here, and then you have to like look up how to get there.
Yeah.
And then you do the thing, and like that itself is like an adventure kind of thing. Versus here, it's like you jump in a car and you go.
Right. And it's like, it's crazy how like Manhattan is really small and really big at the same time.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like it's just so dense. Like, you feel like you are like, oh, I need to go like to the opposite side of the island, and like it would be a good like 40 to 50-minute walk, but then you just like turn a corner, hop on a subway, and then it's like 20 minutes and you're there.
Right, right. It's a vibe. So did you do anything after New York?
After New York, I had a pretty normal week at work, trying to catch up on some stuff and also doing some new stuff. So I actually didn't get to catch up on a whole lot because I just had new stuff that I had to do. But that's a whole separate problem. I'm trying my best not to think about work right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That'll come
then
tomorrow. That's
and then
tomorrow's came an issue.
yeah. And then this past week, I went on a work trip to Florida. I wasn't there the full week. We left on Tuesday and came back on Friday because it was just two neighborhood markets. And
Mhm.
because those are smaller than super centers, they don't take as long. So,
Hmm.
but what about you?
Well, the reason after y'all's trip that we couldn't record after you had like, a relatively normalish work week, my sister got into a pretty gnarly ski accident when she was up there with her friends at Breckenridge. And I kind of had to like drop all my life things and go up there and help her girlfriend care for her because basically she couldn't move on her own.
Yeah.
She had a tibial plateau fracture or break. It was the surgeon said in difficulty out of 10, her break was an 8.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
And
those x-rays you sent me looked pretty rough.
yeah, they were.
It was like 12 screws.
Yeah. Yeah. And like 2 plates on either side so she doesn't get bow leg.
Yeah.
Because the break happened basically right under her knee, and it was a complete break, aka like her leg was shorter on that side because it like since it broke out of place, it like the tendons and everything pulled the bottom of her foot up. So it was yeah.
Did you see
But
it before like she was in the hospital? Like, I don't know, what
no.
like did the bone come out of her skin or something?
No, like it was all in her skin, but it was just apparently it was misaligned. Like you could tell that. I mean, it was like she would raise her leg basically, and it would just dangle kind of
Oh,
thing.
dang. That's wild.
And I didn't see that because that night actually, or that day, I was out with my friends as a goodbye to one of our friends,
Yeah.
having Korean barbecue, and I got a call during Korean barbecue that like, hey, your sister's in emergency surgery right now, and
That's
we had
freaking
this, like,
wild.
yeah, crazy stuff. And so yeah, I went up there and basically I didn't leave for almost or roughly 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks I think. I was up there doing everything from helping her stand up, helping her walk, helping anything that I could do, and then Brooke was helping her do everything else. That's
How
like
long is
part of
her
restroom situations and whatnot.
like her physical therapy gonna be?
It's gonna be a year.
Dang.
A whole year, dude. Yeah, she went through 2 surgeries. One, she had an exo thingy on there, basically 4 screws, 2 in her lower bone and then 2 in her femur, basically holding her leg straight with like this metal contraption on the outside. And then she had the second surgery, which basically opened both sides of her leg up. They fixed everything in there. But the good thing is now I'm back to my regular life. She is in New York. The stitches, she took them out, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. They were taken out.
Okay.
And they look amazing. They cut through one of her tattoos, and let me tell you, the craftsmanship on putting the tattoo back together perfectly was done amazingly.
Nice.
So yeah, she's doing a lot better now. My mom's up there in New York, so my mom and I traded places.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was kind of why that
So,
second break on a
word
podcast
of
happened.
warning for all our listeners: be careful with snow sports.
Yeah.
I mean, all sports
snow
in general,
sports-
but like if you're speeding down the side of a mountain, some bad stuff can happen real quick.
That is very true. And my sister's a very experienced skier. And unfortunately, it was at the end of the day. She was just chilling out with some friends on a regular, like, easy ass blue. And she was dipping in and out of trees. And when she dipped into one of the trees, she couldn't avoid a cluster of them and kind of just smacked into them. And well, the rest is history.
Bro, I saw a video like a week ago of some guy who was skiing, and he like just went past some trees, and like out of the like corner of his eye, like you could see just barely got caught on the camera. You can see just like a snowboard just like laying in the snow, and then
Oh
he
yeah,
like
in a
turned
tree well,
around.
right?
What?
It was in a tree well.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But he like turned
Sorry.
around, and yeah, and there was this a snowboarder was stuck upside down in the snow, and it was like
Yeah.
literally just the tips of his feet and the snowboard sticking out.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey man, you all right?" And if you can't hear anything, that means they can't breathe.
Yeah,
And
and so
so
he had
the
to
first
like
thing that you do is you go
pull out
below
his
them and you
shovel
dig.
and dig him
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you dig. So if you're sitting, you have to be down the mountain and you dig up the mountain basically. So
Yeah.
that, you don't push snow on the guy's head. You might not know where it is, but yeah, so that's called a tree well. And like around trees, it might look like, there's a lot of snow there, but a lot of times underneath that is like a giant air pocket. So what basically happened is that snowboard probably like hit that pocket and just fell straight down, and his board caught the surrounding snow. And yeah, it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, and like if that guy hadn't skied by, he probably would have died.
He probably for sure would have died. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Scary.
That's why you always try to ski with someone,
Yeah, ski with a buddy, snowboard with
Yeah.
a buddy.
Yeah, or have like a walkie-talkie with you so you can try to call for help. But I mean, snow season is almost over. The park that I would usually go to is already closed, so
Gotcha.
it's almost summer sports season. But besides this big old break, which we are extremely sorry for, however, we've got a pretty good episode here today for you guys.
Yes, we do. We are going to do a bit of a double feature for you guys to make up for our lost time, and we will talk about John Wick, both Chapter 2 and Chapter 3.
Let's go.
So, starting with Chapter 2, which was released in 2017. Obviously, same director, Chad Stahelski, stars all the same people with a few new faces. And yeah, pretty good movie. Had an estimated budget of 40 million and ended up making about 174 million.
Wow, that's amazing. Only 40 million.
Yeah,
That's really impressive.
I think they do a good job with not a lot in these movies.
Okay.
And I think I don't remember, but I think the budget for the first one was even lower. But obviously, you get a little bit more once you have such a popular movie.
Right.
But yeah, what did you think about John Wick Chapter 2?
I thought it was pretty good. I think it matched, if you listen to our John Wick Chapter 1 episode, I think it matched the vibes of that movie quite well. The tie together was done in a good way. But yeah, overall, I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely, I would say, it's not quite as strong of a movie for me as the first one. But definitely not a bad movie by any means.
Yeah, I think like with this one, they were setting up the second movie a lot. Like, I don't know. Sorry, the third movie. I think they were setting up the third movie. So I don't know.
But yeah, because I think
So that's away from it.
there's like I think a large part of why I like the first one best is because I like the mystery kind of a feel of the first one, and the like seedy underground, like, ooh, there's this like hidden world of assassins kind of a thing. And I feel like the second and third one kind of lose that a little bit, and they like sometimes explain too much, and at a certain point it starts to feel like the secret world is not so secret, like everyone just knows about all the hitmen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like because they are in the world of being hitmen that like all they really interact with are hitmen or people that know of hitmen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's like scenes where there's like normal people there, and like people just don't react how I feel like normal people would react.
Yeah, that's fair. That is true.
But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and step into the boxing ring. In case we have any new listeners, I'll go ahead and do a quick explanation of what the boxing ring is. So there's a website called Letterboxd, which is an aggregate website for movie reviews and information. And on that website, there is a short description of each movie, and Luca and I compete to see who can guess the closest to that description. Do you still have your notes keeping track of whose turn it is?
Yes, it is your turn.
All right. I will say after recovering his car and his dog, John Wick attempts to settle back into retirement, but he is quickly pulled out in order to repay a debt from his past life.
Okay. I'll say, let's see here. John Wick, after recovering his car and dog, thought he was done with the assassin lifestyle until a marker is placed in his path that puts him and his expertise at stake. All right, that was it for me.
Cool. So the letterboxed description here says John Wick is forced out of retirement by a former associate looking to seize control of a shadowy international assassins guild. Bound by a blood oath to aid him, Wick travels to Rome and does battle against some of the world's most dangerous killers. Interesting.
Okay, I think the only thing that I got, was the blood oath. I called out marker, which was the blood oath thing.
Yeah, I said repay a debt, which was like, that's what I was trying to go with that. I didn't say marker because that's like doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you see the movie.
True.
I also mentioned retirement. You said like get out of the assassin lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us talked about Rome though.
No, or the other creed.
Or the International Assassins Guild.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Do you want to try and do a tiebreaker?
I always lose at these. Okay, yeah. Oh God, here we go.
I don't know. What do you think would be a good one? We can let you choose so it feels more fair.
No idea.
Ooh, I know a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. How many people do you think John Wick kills in this movie?
Oh wow. Oh God. Maybe my guess is gonna be 97 people.
Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of a Price is Right here, and I'm just gonna say 100.
Boo.
If I had to give like a more precise guess, I don't know. I'd guess I'd do like 103. I feel like it was a little bit over 100, and you're saying it was a little bit under 100. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope they have that info.
How many people does John Wick kill in Chapter 2? Okay, here we go. Total kills 128.
Wow. Okay. There you go.
And it says he fired 302 shots and had an accuracy of 80.1%.
Jeez.
So 242 hits and 60 misses.
Yeah, that's insane. Wild. Just wild.
Just wild. All right, so yeah, I guess I win that one.
Oh, would you look at that? Alrighty.
All right. Well, I think what we're gonna do this time is put our break in between the movies. So rather than doing a separate break for each one, we'll just move right into spoilers now, and then after we get done with the movie, we can take a break before the second one.
Okay. Do you think we need to do a spoiler like section for this, or do you think it's old enough?
I mean, it's only like 6 years old. We might as well do a spoiler, especially because there might be some people who are like rewatching the original 3 to prepare for the 4th one.
Okay. Well, do we do it now or after the break? After, right?
Well, no, that we're not doing a break now, so like, we'll do it now.
Oh, we're just gonna run through it. All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the spoilers section. If you don't want the movie spoiled, don't listen.
Does that mean you got your
All right.
your computer and all that figured out?
Say what?
Well, because I know for a while you were recording on your phone. And
no,
it
I was
was
listening to Discord on the phone and then recording on the PC.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. But
yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't have a double voice on here, so
cool.
I'm
yeah,
because
it was always funny listening without the voice modulator, but now I can hear it again.
Yeah. No, it should be good.
Tight.
All right.
All right, then I guess where do you want to start?
Well, I think we should start with the very start. It starts off with basically like an old school movie playing on like the side of a building of like this motorcycle chase, and the next thing you know there's like an actual motorcycle chase.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, how it starts, and you don't know if John Wick is on the motorcycle, but at one point you notice it's not him, he's in the car. But what I want to bring up already is a question right off the bat is like, when he was driving the car, he hit the guy in the motorcycle, right? And he just took something that was in his like front pocket, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But he doesn't kill the guy.
Correct.
Isn't that a little weird?
I mean, maybe he just like didn't have to kill that guy.
But that's weird. I mean, like, this guy was obviously a person from this big, group that has his actual.
Because he doesn't always shoot everyone. There are a couple, like later on, there's also a motorcycle chase, and some of those people like just get knocked off their bikes.
Well, true, but he's trying to be strategic, like stealthy going in there, right? So if this guy calls his, boss and is like, yo, he got my card or whatever to get in, then they're going to be on alert.
Fair. But
And
also, I don't know if he was trying to be that sneaky, because as soon as he walks in that building, he is like, it's a firefight immediately. He like walks in the door and starts shooting people.
Not immediately, though. I mean, he kills a few of them quietly.
Yeah, okay, I guess that there are a few of them, but I don't know
Yeah,
that he's
like, the only
necessarily
time that
trying
he
to
gets
hide
caught,
too much.
He starts getting caught when he turns his car on. Like, that's what, makes people realize that, oh, John Wick is here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that scene was really cool. I mean, him driving around, and also like he loves this fucking car and it just gets fucking destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Right. Which is interesting because like the guy was like, yeah, you'll see this Christmas 2023 because it's not an easy fix because he destroyed it so much. But then you don't see the car for the rest of the movie. So
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see at what point this car will return.
And also
And
just
how they'll do it.
there's a lot of like fist fighting in that first action sequence as well.
There
And,
is.
like,
He only pulls his
people-
gun out when he like needed it
Yeah.
most.
They're like in this like dirty, wet warehouse, and people are just coming at him, and does some cool moves.
Yeah, like a dirty like New York warehouse, I guess, where they, move drugs and guns and money and whatever else
Yeah,
through taxis, right? It's like a taxi service
I believe so.
warehouse thing. Yeah. It's a front, obviously.
And then they
But
like
yeah, I
they
think
also
that fight was pretty dope.
kind of like tie it back a little bit to like obviously like the kind of joke with John Wick is like, oh, he kills all these people over a dog in a car. But then
Right.
you see it's like he not really like, yes, he cares about the car, but the car itself maybe isn't necessarily the most important thing, because he also has like a letter and a photo in the glove
Yeah.
box that he wanted to get back.
Yeah, it's what's in the car. It's not technically the car itself, like you said. It's interesting though, like they banged up this car like a crazy amount, and then it like started up again and somehow made it back to his house.
Yeah, I don't know how he got all the way back home. And that's another thing is like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what the police are like in the John Wick universe, but he drove this busted ass, like doesn't even have a door, windshield like busted in, and like not once did he get pulled over.
Right.
Like
Very strange.
very strange.
Yeah. But he made it. You know how
Yep.
he made it? He's John Wick. So yeah, and so after all that, his car basically got picked up. That's when he was basically like, hey, you're gonna have this like late Christmas, March 2023 or something like that. And then that's when John has a visit from a big character in this movie.
Yeah. Santino D'Antonio.
So this guy is like he's not the heir at this point. His sister became the heir of.
Yeah, so there's and this is like one of the scenes that like I didn't really like as much, because they start getting, well, I don't know, they're like things that I like and things that I didn't like. They talk about there's like a hierarchy to the assassin world, and apparently the people that make all the rules are called the High Table,
They
and
enforce the rules. Yeah.
and his dad had a seat at the High Table at one point, and then after he died, he passed his seat down to his daughter, who is this
Mhm.
guy's older sister.
Right.
And he basically tells John, he's like, I think I want that job, so if you could kill my sister, that'd be great.
And the thing is, like, the first meeting here, like, John says no.
Yeah,
Basically, he shows him a marker, which is a blood-bound rule that, like, he did something for John at one point.
yeah, it's like
and-
this big metal circle that has like a bloody thumbprint on the inside.
Yeah. And basically, it means that no matter what is asked, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because rules are rules in
Yeah.
the assassin's world.
They make a big deal about the rules.
Yeah. But this was at John's house, and John basically said no without even knowing what the job was.
Yeah.
And this guy basically burned his fucking house down, like, on the spot.
Yeah, he like went and got like a grenade launcher, and he was like, all right, sorry.
Yeah. And then after that, John was pretty pissed off. So he went to none other than another big boss who was introduced in the first movie. I don't know his name. The Continental guy.
Winston.
Winston, yes.
Yeah.
He went to Winston and basically asked Winston. He was like, yo, he presented me this medal. And I said no. And Winston was like, dude, you have to do it. Rules are rules. If not, you'll die. And if you don't do it, you'll die. So
yeah. But that's because I feel like part of the, like I was talking about earlier with the, like, I like the mystery part, is I feel like in the beginning, in the first movie, they have those coins and they never explain the coins. It's just like John Wick like walks up to a door and like hands a person a coin and then gets let in, and you're like, huh, what are these? But like, it's weird because like it's just one coin for everything. Like you could like give someone a single coin and get like a car, or you could give someone a coin and get like a drink.
yeah.
And it's like,
I don't know what the value is of them.
Right. And so they never really explain those gold coins, but then they introduce the markers in this movie, and immediately there's that scene with Santino sitting at the table like talking to John about like a marker is a blood oath and you owe me this favor and all of this stuff. And like, I feel like I'm not interested in knowing that much detail about all this stuff. I feel like it would almost be more interesting if it was like a little bit more mysterious. But they're like, no, you gave me your marker because I helped you retire, and now I like am getting my debt back and all of this stuff. And
I can
it's
see
just
that.
a lot.
Yeah, I can see that being kind of a bummer because it doesn't lead your imagination on. And I think even to this point, we still don't exactly know what that currency is. I mean, you were introduced. Yeah, no, you don't.
Also, while we're talking about the Continental, I should mention Lance Reddick, who is the concierge at the Continental, recently passed away. And so,
did he really?
Yeah. So we should we'll take a second to say he has done a great job in all of the John Wick movies and all of the other movies that he's been in, and he'll definitely be missed.
Yeah, he was one of my faves. Unfortunate. Do you know what he passed away of? Old age or like a
no, he had
cancer?
Let me look it up real quick. I don't remember. It was a couple weeks ago.
Well, moment of silence for him while you look it up.
See, I was seeing a lot of stuff here that says natural causes, but then there's also an article here that says his family is disputing the official cause of death.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess it's still up in the air relatively.
The death certificate apparently lists his cause of death as ischemic or ischemic, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Heart disease and some sort of coronary artery disease.
Wow.
So he just like he was 60 years old, which looked amazing for 60, but yeah, he just, I guess, had his heart was failing.
Very sad. Great, amazing actor. I mean, hands down, definitely one of the most classy in this movie, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just all around fantastic performance.
I agree.
But anyway, I think after his visit to the Continental, he has this like really cool, because Winston tells him, he's like, okay, well, I know, because he goes back to the there's like a museum that he goes and talks to Santino again, and he's like, fine, I guess I'll do you your favor. And that's when he tells him that he wants him to kill his sister, and that she's going to be at like a coronation ceremony in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's a good place to do it.
Yeah, he was like, this is kind of impossible, but okay. And then the crazy part is the way how it like leads up to it is pretty dope. And I might be skipping ahead a bit.
I love the like suit up scene that he has, where he's like going around and like he gets a new suit, and the tailor's talking about like, oh yeah, we have this fancy new like bulletproof material that we've sewed into your jacket. And then he is like goes to talk to the sommelier, who is like a expert in like guns. And so he's like presenting all these firearms to him, and he's like, oh, would you like this one, or do you I would prefer this one over here.
And then he's like, I want some dessert. And then he pulls out some like extremely sharp knives, you know?
Yeah.
Like...
yeah, because they're like talking about it all like kind of in code, like as if it is like, because normally a sommelier would be presenting people wine, And so
Mhm.
they're like kind of talking about all of these weapons as if they're just different kinds of wine.
Yeah. So like maybe if someone is bugged, that it doesn't sound like
And so he's like, oh,
bad
I
things are
need
going on.
something a bit more robust for the end of the evening. And he's like, oh, okay. And he like pulls out a shotgun.
Yeah. But basically, after he gets all his stuff, he suits up, he gets a map of Rome and all that jazz of the ancient ruins. He goes into the ruins, sets it up. But this is one thing that I kind of have a grudge about, right? Is like when he accepted the task, he was like, this is going to be an impossible task. And then the next thing you know, he's already in the room and he just fucking, she kills herself and then he shoots her in the head.
Yeah, it's like
That's
it's
it.
way easier than he was making it out to be.
Yeah. And he
Like
just
it's
like
like
walked out of there in the
they're
party
like
room.
at this rave party, and you just like see the target. I believe her name is Gianna, and like she has like some bodyguards with her, and then you see like a part where they're like walking like back through some ruins to like a hidden room, and then there's just like John Wick in the corner and he's just like hiding. It's like, okay, well obviously it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. And
And
then
then
like she doesn't even like put up a struggle. She's like, well, okay, it wasn't really your choice. And then she like slits her wrists and she's like, I just want to go out of this world my way.
Yeah, because they like kind of hint that her and John like have some history. And so she's like, she's not mad at him. She's like, okay, well, obviously you had a marker, so you got to do what you got to do. But like fuck it, I'm gonna die how I want to die.
Yeah. And she also said like, fair warning, you're just going to be handing my brother New York.
Yeah,
So that's in our minds too. But yeah, she basically slits her throat, takes her clothes off, goes into
no,
a hot tub.
she slit her wrist, not her throat.
Sorry, wrists. Yeah. And then when he like thinks she dies, he shoots her in the head just to make sure she's dead.
Yeah.
And then like the next scene you see is like he's out in the party and he meets another assassin.
Yeah, played by Common, who is, I feel like Common is always really fun to see in movies. He's not even necessarily like the greatest actor, but he just like he does the work, like he puts in some effort and you're just like, okay, good job.
Yeah, kind of. I would agree with that. It's very you can't say spectacular, but you'd say average. Maybe a little above average acting.
Yeah, he's just like very like there's just like I don't want to say one note because that feels kind of rude, but there's not a whole lot of depth to his characters, but the parts that you do see are good.
Yeah.
But he basically like he immediately knows what's up. He's like, "You here on business, John?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's
You
like,
working?
he's like, "You have a good night?" And he's like, "Unfortunately, I did." And then they immediately start shooting at each other, and I thought it was a little weird because I feel like I've never like I don't usually think about John Wick as like a sloppy person, and like obviously is like super precise with like his headshots and all that stuff. But there's like scenes in here where he's like running through a crowd and like shooting at people in the middle of like a crowded dance floor while everyone's partying. And I'm like, just because you hit someone doesn't mean that the bullet stops. Like a lot of times a bullet can go through someone and you could just like randomly hit someone in the crowd. And that feels a little unprofessional.
Oh, absolutely. But I think all the people there were basically, in on this killing scheme thing, the Assassin's Creed kind of lifestyle.
I mean, I don't
Or else
know
they
because
wouldn't be
like,
there, right?
well, it could just be like a party. Not everyone knows what's going on. They're just like,
But,
oh
like,
hey,
they're-
there's
It's a coronation for that lady. I mean, they're not just gonna invite regular ass Rome people over to this ruins party.
but they could like hide their coronation party inside of another party. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I don't know
And I guess
because
the coronation never actually happened, so you don't know exactly.
I feel like if they were all assassins, they would like all have weapons on them. But there were a lot of people that were just like, once the shooting starts, they were like screaming and running away, and that doesn't feel like how other assassins would react to that situation.
Well, true. I mean, they might not all be assassins. They could be, like the telephone line people. Like there's a whole ass network that we kind of get a peek into, which I think is extremely cool. That could have been there. I don't know.
Well, and there's also a scene like right after that, once they get more away from the crowd, he like gets away for a little bit and then they see each other and there's like a big fountain in between them, and they're like sitting there staring at each other, and then as soon as the water goes up, they both just start shooting through the water, even though they can't see what's on the other side. And I'm like, what if you just accidentally shoot some rando? Like, that's horrible.
I agree. That was extremely reckless. And I actually thought about that too, like while it was happening, and I was like, man, I'm sure some people must have dropped. Like, there's no way that, I don't know.
And
I
then
do also
John
want to say though that in this movie there was a lot more blood than I think the first one. Like way more. Like when he was running around shooting people in the face, you would like see like some brain leaving them, and like there's a big hole in their head kind of thing.
Yeah, the headshots are pretty intense.
Yeah.
And then there's another, like right after the whole fountain shootout thing, there's like there's a whole weird thing between the both of them, and like there's a part where they're like walking through, I don't know, there's some sort of building, and I don't remember Common's character's name, Cassian. Cassian and John are like walking through this building, and Cassian is like up on an upper level and John's like down below, and they're like holding their guns up against their body and like trying to like sneakily shoot at each other.
Yeah, it was like a subway system, and they were like pew 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 pew, and they're like taking turns trying to knock each other out.
Oh my god, I saw a YouTube video one time that was like, because obviously like silencers in movies are always like way quieter than real suppressors.
Yeah, of course.
And someone made a video on YouTube of like what that scene would be like with actual like suppressors. And it's like them trying to be all sneaky, but it's like bang 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 bang.
Yeah. I mean, suppressors work if you're far enough away, not if you're like right up on each other like that was.
Yeah,
like an echo
you're
chamber,
not,
basically.
It's not like you could be 2 feet away from someone and they're not going to notice you firing a gun.
Very true, yeah. But basically that leads to, at one point, they do like a hand-on-hand combat, and one of them gets tackled, and they like breaks through some glass and land on continental grounds in Rome.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like that means they have to stop fighting, and then one of the what are they called? The people that like invite them in and help them out.
I guess it's probably their concierge.
Yeah, concierge. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, the concierge came, and he was like, there's a bar over there if you guys want to just talk this out and cool off real quick.
Yeah.
So they went and had a drink. And that one girl, the deaf girl that's always signing.
Because we also
too in the background.
In addition to, so Cassian is trying to kill John because he was working for Gianna, and they like were like close, and he said he cared about her, and so it's like a revenge mission for him. But then also Santino, even though he's the one that asked John to kill his sister, is now trying to like cover his tracks by sending his men after John as well. And so you see I don't think she's ever named in the movie, but in the credits her character's name is Ares, and she's played by Ruby Rose, and she, I guess, is like the head of his security or something like that. But while John is trying to escape, he's being like attacked from both sides, because he's got Cassian trying to kill him on one side, and then also Santino's people trying to kill him. And so when they get to the Continental, after he sits down and has a drink with Cassian, Ares is also there, and she's deaf and signs to him, but apparently John Wick knows every language in existence, so he just understands her.
Yeah, he like signs back to her. He was like, no, unless I see you first, or something like that.
But yeah, I don't remember what happened right after that scene.
He like sits down in this random ass chair, and then he gets a call from this random ass phone. Right? Yeah. He gets a call, and then I think that's where he finds out that he has a $7 million bounty on his head.
Right.
Because although he got the job done, the brother wanted basically a clean slate, which was now he needs to kill John Wick.
And since his obviously his security team wasn't able to kill him, so he's like, whatever, I'm just gonna put out an open contract, and then everyone can try and kill him.
Yeah. And so from there, he basically needs to get back to, I'm guessing, like his continental ground in America.
And I don't know, they never really showed him like getting on a plane or anything, so I don't know how he got back to America. Yeah,
by train. Like, I don't know, but like they had some pretty cool scenes of like, some people like attacking him.
Yeah, it would just be
And
like
then,
some random people like playing chess or something, and then you like see their phone or hear their phone ring, and then they like pull their phone out and then look like very suspiciously towards John.
Yeah, yeah. So basically what happens is like the whole like through even in the first movie and the second chapter, there's always been like this rumor of like John in a bar fight, he used a pencil to kill like a few people.
Yeah.
And here in this scene, he used a pencil to kill 2 people.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievably disturbing, like how he did it and like the camera angles that they chose. And like,
yeah, it was wild.
it was crazy. Like a pencil through the head and then an eyeball basically being taken out and the pencil shoved through his head.
Like slowly pushed it into a guy's eyeball.
Yeah. It was crazy. And there was so much blood, and like at one point he was fighting this other guy and he went between his legs and like cut open his underbody, and there's just like blood started pouring out of this dude. And then throughout these fights he did get hurt too. So at one point he like gave one of his coins to like this homeless dude, and he hid John. And
but that was after sorry, not to skip ahead too far, but he's like down in the subway system, and
oh right.
Hey, this was another thing that that's like part of the reason why I feel like I guess just everyone in the world knows about the assassins, because he literally like kills 2 guys on one of the train platforms, and then the train just comes by and stops, and you can like see people getting off the train, but you don't hear anyone like scream or react to the 2 dead bodies. Like people just like casually walk past them like it's whatever.
Yeah, true.
But then he gets on this train and Cassian follows him, and then they get into a knife fight, and he ends up like stabbing Cassian in the heart, but he's like, you only die if you pull the knife out. And he says like, consider this a professional courtesy of like letting him like have a chance at being alive.
Pretty dope though. It was a very cool scene.
Yeah. But then after he gets off the train,
smiles.
some of the like subway, I think they're like dressed up as like janitors or something, but they are also like trying to kill him. And then he finds this homeless guy and gives him one of the coins to hide him.
And then they come by and he just fucking shoots both of them in the head. And then these 2 other homeless dudes come and like drag their bodies away.
Yeah, they immediately like he shoots them, and these guys pop out of nowhere and immediately carry the bodies off.
Yeah. And then we get introduced to like this underground network of all these homeless people that work for none other than
the Bowery King, who is played by Lawrence Fishburne.
Which great actor. Love that guy. He slays everything that he's in as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically he was also given this same option by Wick years ago.
Yeah.
Of like he put a knife into his neck and basically said like, hey, this nicked your carotid artery. If you pull it out, you can possibly kill me. Or
well, I don't even think it was like he left the knife in there. It was like he had
put pressure on it, right?
Yeah, he was like, you can either keep pressure on the wound, or you can draw your gun and try and shoot me while I'm leaving.
Yeah. So he basically didn't draw his gun, saved his life, and now Wick is in front of him asking for help.
Yeah. And he basically like laughs in his face, but then he ends up helping him because he says, I think like just like in that previous encounter, the Bowery King tends to take the forward thinking option rather than having immediate gratification. So he's like, I could kill you right now and I could get $7 million. And John's like, yeah, but if you kill me, Santino's going to take over New York and you don't want that. But if you help me out, I can kill Santino and then you can keep doing your thing. And so he's like, all right, well, I'm giving up a lot of money. So for $7 million, I'll give you 7 bullets.
Right. $1 million per bullet. So from there, he gets like directions to
there's like another event going on. I think it's
another coronation, right?
At the same museum that he talked to him earlier. And he just like shows up in the middle of the floor. And he's like, what up? I'm here.
Yeah. And like walks through the crowd and like no one really notices him, but then like he like stares at the brother.
Yeah.
Everyone like gets out of their ways, and then of course they start shooting around.
Yeah. And it was definitely, I feel like The I think the opening fight sequence in this movie I think I liked better than the finale here.
I think I agree with that. Yeah. The finale was like a little bit stale, a little too on the nose for me personally.
Yeah, there's like
And it
wasn't
was really quick.
it felt a little less creative. It was a lot
Yeah.
of just like shooting around corners, and I was also a little confused because there was a couple times where like because there's like a mirror room or whatever because it's like an art exhibit, and there was a couple times where John would like shoot people through the mirrors or like through a wall even one time,
Yeah.
but then anytime someone tried to shoot him, like the mirrors would block the bullets.
I think what happened there was like that he moved the mirrors so that they weren't exactly on him, so the bullets would fly by, and then he'd like push the mirror out of the way and kill the guy.
Huh.
I don't know, but that's kind of how my brain took it.
But yeah, he kills all these people, and then eventually the Ares, the like head bodyguard person for Santino, is like, "You get out of here, I'll finish this." But then she gets killed pretty easily, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, John's just different.
Yeah. So he kills her and then goes, and Santino ends up making it back to the Continental, and he's pretty much like teasing John. He's like sitting there eating a steak, and he's like, "Oh, they have such good food here, and someone could stay in this hotel for a long time and they'd never have to eat the same meal twice." And basically, like, while he's sitting there, John just shoots him right in the face.
After the owner of the Continental, the big boss, says,
Yeah,
"Don't do it, John. Walk away, John."
Winston's standing there and he's like, "John, just put your gun down. It's not worth it." And he just straight up murders this guy.
And then he asks John, "What have you done?" And John's like, "Finished it."
Yeah. And this is where we see there's like well, it's not the first time we see it because we also saw it earlier, but so obviously the same as if our listeners remember from the first movie, one of the big rules is that you can't kill anyone on continental grounds. And there was that one person who tried to kill John in the first movie and ended up killing that other guy, and then she got declared excommunicado, and they basically like took her out to the park and shot her.
Yeah.
But
those are the rules.
Because Winston likes John, he's basically like, "Hey, I can give you an hour, but then like I can't stop. It's the rules. Like I'm not allowed to protect you."
Right. So basically an hour goes by and then shit goes crazy.
Yeah, and we see there's like you had mentioned it briefly earlier, but there's this whole like weird like switchboard operation thing where I think they call it accounting, but it's basically how everyone keeps track of bounties and like hit lists, and they have like records for all of the assassins and stuff like that.
Yeah. They have like records for everything, like doctors that are in good standings with them.
Yeah.
Continental grounds, different continental grounds.
They have they get the order that John Wick is excommunicado, and they go through this whole process where they like pull out his file, stamp it, send it to another person who puts it into a computer, and then the message gets like sent to a different room, and then they like type up a message and then send it to this machine that like sends a text message to every single assassin.
Yeah, on time though.
Yeah,
right when the clock strikes the hour, John has to be he's on his own.
So yeah, basically the movie ends with him being like, "All right, John, you have an hour," and John just starts booking it. And you see like he has his dog with him, and they're both just running down the street, and you see as he's running all of these people getting the text message being like, "Hey, in an hour you can get," and because he broke the rules, the bounty doubled, and so instead of 7 million, now it's 14 million. And so
insane amount of money.
Yeah.
But like also like before he was let to know like he has an hour, John basically asked like, "Well, why haven't you killed me yet?" And he was like, "I mean, I could have killed you." And then he like does this thing on his phone. He says, "Now," and everyone that's like hundreds of people around just stop and look. Like this dude owns everybody.
Yeah.
In this lot. so that like, you know, killings can take place, but it looks natural. But yeah, I mean, it's wild. Like he's running down the street with his dog, and everyone that he passes, like a lot of people at least.
Oh, and for those of you who follow us on social media, I visited that park area while I was in New York and posted some photos.
Yeah, you did. Go check it out. Pretty cool pics.
But yeah, so
yeah.
he's running down the street. Everyone's getting the text message being like, "Hey, in an hour you can get 14 million if you kill John," and everyone's just like watching him run by, and pretty crazy.
Yeah, wild
And then,
stuff.
Yeah, and that's where that movie ends.
Cut to credits, baby.
So yeah, overall, pretty fun, good action sequences as always. I think some of the storytelling I felt was a little weaker, but
Yeah, I think it was like a good setup or like explanation of the first movie / setup for the third movie. That's kind of how I see this one.
yeah,
Definitely not as strong as the first one, just because like they had to put so much like, I don't know, thought into it to set this whole story up. But
yeah,
this one's like this weird middle ground one. Definitely a good watch though, like you said. I would highly recommend it. So far, like there's been nothing in the movie that's like really triggered me in a negative way. It's just like, honestly, it's like a fun like sit down watch.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us move on to trivia.
Let's do it.
For this movie, I have here that the character of the Italian tailor is played by the actual costume designer of the John Wick films, whose name is Luca Mosca.
Oh, you look! What a great name!
So yeah,
that's awesome. Let's go.
The person's talking about the new bulletproof suits. That's like the person who actually designed all the costumes for the movies.
Oh, that's dope. I'm glad that like he gets a role.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has to ask for it or he just got it.
Yeah, I don't know. The DJ who was performing at the party in Rome is called Castlevania, who wrote music for the first 2 John Wick movies. So again, someone who actually worked on the movie gets a part in the movie.
That's dope. I like that.
We already talked last time about how the director Chad Stahelski is a stuntman and actually doubled for Keanu Reeves in the Matrix movies. But Chad Stahelski's wife, whose name is Heidi Moneymaker, is actually also a stunt person, and he or she doubles for Ares, the deaf person, and then she also played the assassin violinist.
Oh, that was the same person.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I wouldn't have noticed. That's dope. I didn't like her. She was annoying. Cool.
Common, it says here, lobbied very hard for his role in the sequel after loving the first film, and even flew himself to Los Angeles for fight training.
Damn. You can really tell though that like a lot of effort was put into like the legitness of how to handle a weapon / fighting.
Yeah. It says here the white pigeon that the Bowery King was holding got snatched by a hawk later in the day during the scene where they released the birds.
No way. Oh my god. The unlucky, bro.
Yeah. Imagine like shooting that scene, all of a sudden a hawk swoops by and just grabs one of your pigeons. You're like, oh, fuck.
God. Imagine though if the camera was rolling while that happened. That'd be just unbelievably insane.
That'd be wild. It says Gianna D'Antonio's suicide had to be slightly edited for the film's theatrical release in the UK in order to avoid an 18 rating.
Oh wow. What was I guess too much blood or just like the slitting of the wrist or what?
I guess, I don't know. And I also don't fully understand how the UK rating system works, because in the US obviously it's rated R because there's a shit ton of blood. But I don't know the UK rating system, so I don't know what an 18 is, if that's like equivalent to an R, if that's worse. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, sure, like as 18 you're an adult, so it's probably just an adult movie, an R-rated movie, same thing. But
why would they want it to not be? That's what I'm confused about.
That's true. That's interesting.
And then this last little piece of fact here says the only stunts that Keanu Reeves didn't do himself were getting hit by cars and the scene where he was falling down the stairs with
I was about to
Cassian.
say, yeah, I could have guessed both of those. That falling down the stairs when I was looking at the actors, I was like, oh, there's something different here. There's something different. But it was good.
But yeah, he did almost everything else because Keanu Reeves is committed to these films.
He is, but you can tell like it does work on his body.
Yeah.
Like his running, you can tell is kind of like slower, but he's doing it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe now is a good time for us to take a quick break, and then we'll come back for chapter 3.
Dun dun dun.
Boom, we're back.
Hello. Hope you guys had a good break.
All right, well, we don't need to catch up with each other on the past 5 seconds.
No,
So-
I don't think so.
John Wick Chapter 3 came out in 2019. Same director, same cast. Like before, a few new faces that we can touch on as that happens. Chapter 3 had a budget of $75 million and made $328.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You could tell people are liking it.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think about Chapter 3?
I enjoyed chapter 3 more than chapter 2. I liked.
I would agree
Oh,
with
you
that.
don't? You don't?
No, I do.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it was, again, a good watch. I think this one did have a bit more mystery, and it was a lot more, I don't know, like surprising, because like John himself didn't exactly know what his next moves were going to be, if that makes sense. Like he just kind of had to wing it and hope for the best.
I think the action was just a lot more intense in this one as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And you'll find out why in my quick review of the movie.
All right. Now we can step into the Buckster ring.
All right. Here we go. After killing 2 members of the High Table, John Wick had to run from what he would previously have called his safe haven, the Continental, and everything that came with it. Has a $14 million bounty on his head and has to somehow survive by calling on some of his by calling on some people that owe him. Yeah, that was it.
All right. Yeah, mine probably won't be too different. I'll say after John Wick kills a member of what they call it last time, the International Assassins Guild.
Oh my god.
A $14 million bounty is placed on him, and he must now go on the run as assassins around the world try to kill him.
Okay.
And this one says, super assassin John Wick returns with a $14 million price tag on his head and an army of bounty hunting killers on his trail. After killing a member of the shadowy International Assassins Guild,
God.
the High Table, John Wick is excommunicado, but the world's most ruthless hitmen and women await his every turn. I knew they were going to say that because they said it on the last one, but they did
said
also
High
say the
Table
High
too.
Table. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we both got it.
And they said $14 million bounty.
Yep. This feels pretty even again to me.
Yeah, that's tough. I guess we could do a tie.
Maybe we can do the same thing.
How
You
many-
want
how
to
many
see how
people-
many people he killed in this one?
Oh god, this one, dude? Fuck. I want to say he killed 172 people.
Okay.
I should
Actually,
let you choose first.
maybe you should. I
Now
think
you're
he
gonna be
actually.
I think he has 201 person.
No, I think he actually killed less people in this one because a lot of it was him just like wandering around in the desert, and like there was like pretty big
True.
sections where he wasn't murdering people.
That's true.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stick with my same as last time. I'm just gonna say 100.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what how many he killed.
All right. Does John Wick in Chapter 3? In John Wick Chapter 3, John is responsible for the deaths of 94 people.
Bro, what? How? There's so much more action in this one. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
And like with that end scene of like him killing all the bots. Interesting. Okay, well, you win again.
All right. Another quick warning: if you really don't want to know what happens in this movie, maybe stop listening now.
Don't listen.
Perfect.
Right. Yeah. Well, he said.
I will say, I think I like that this movie starts like immediately after the second one. Like I feel like there was a bit of time between 1 and 2. Like it felt like not a lot of time, but like maybe a day or two. But this one is like literally on the second. Like he's running away at the end of the second one, and then at the beginning of this one he's still running, and it's still like within that hour.
That time period.
Yeah.
And you get like introduced to like different places that he goes to like kind of prepare. And then
he's like still wounded from his last fight.
Right. So he has to go to like, well, was he still wounded? Or no,
Yeah,
he wasn't wounded.
He's running down the street, and he's got I think it's like a stab wound or something in his gut.
Was that from that? Huh. Maybe.
I don't remember if it was a stab wound or a shooting, but at some point he got shot in the side, and when he was running down the street, he was like holding his side.
Huh. Is this where he goes to the library and sees that tall ass dude?
Oh yeah. Because
right.
Yeah.
He gets from the tall dude. He gets stabbed in like kind of like the neck-ish area,
like in
straight
his,
down,
like collarbone kind of.
Yeah. This
I
man
also noticed
was a fucking giant, bro.
Yeah, he was huge.
Unbelievable. Like 9
easily
foot.
7 feet. Oh, maybe I don't know.
Way
Maybe
taller.
9 feet. I don't know.
How tall is John Wick? See, that would have been a good question for the tiebreaker.
I think John is
5'11", 5'8".
I think I remember seeing something about this when I was looking for a trivia, and I'm pretty sure on his file it says he's 6'1".
John Wick is 6'1".
I don't know if Keanu Reeves is 6'1", but John Wick is meant to be 6'1".
Huh.
But yeah, I also noticed it was.
Oh yeah, so the giant, the dude, he's an actor. His name is Boban Marjovinic. Something like that.
Isn't he also like a basketball player or something?
Yeah, he played for the Houston Rockets, number 51, and he's Serbian, and he's 7'4".
Okay, so definitely not 9 feet.
Yeah, definitely not 9 feet. But damn, he looks like it in that movie. They made him look taller.
Yeah, he's huge.
But yeah, so like before the time even runs out, like this guy's like basically being like, I don't know, like no one's gonna know when I kill you.
He's like,
so
if I kill you 10 minutes before the time is up, no one's gonna know the difference.
Right. So he goes at it with him, and basically John kills him with a book.
Yeah, like brutal too. He like breaks his jaw and then like snaps his neck on the book, like on the side of a table.
Yeah, he like puts his neck on the book. The book's placed vertically, puts the dude's neck on it, and just like punches his head down and breaks his neck. Crazy
Wild.
shit.
But he does, like you said earlier, he does get stabbed in the shoulder a bit.
Yeah. And he has like maybe 10 minutes left, or like 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he goes to his like doc, and he like basically gives the doc a coin and begging to help him stitch it up. And
well, I noticed this as well. Even he gives the cab driver a coin as well to drop his dog back off at the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give him some type of payment, you know?
Well, but I don't like, and the cab driver recognizes him too. He's like right away, Mr. Wick, and I'm like those
Everyone
are the kind
knows.
of things that I'm like, literally everyone in the whole. If you can hop into
true.
a random cab and they also know about all the assassin shit, that means too many people know about the assassin shit.
Well, yeah, but like I think at the end of the second movie, they were really trying to make a point of like how many people are in on this.
Yeah, I know,
You know?
but that's like it's
don't
pretty
know.
much all of New York City at that point.
Yeah, that is true. He could have just been like to some random cab dude and been like, hey, can you take this to this location? And that would have been just as fine, I think. I don't know. That's interesting. It's as if like regular ass people can't go into that hotel. You know what I'm saying?
It was also just like, I feel like it's almost like everyone has like their normal day job, but then it's just like, as a side business, everyone is also an assassin.
A killer.
Like people are like, oh yeah, I'm a cab driver and also a killer, or oh, I'm a janitor and also a killer.
Yeah, maybe we're doing it wrong, bro. We do architecture and we're a killer. I don't know. That's true. That's true. I do hope for like the next movie that, you know, it's a little bit more mysterious again.
Yeah, it's just like it feels less like a criminal underworld. It's a criminal overworld.
Yeah. And the regular people are just idiots because they don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. I loved.
Basically.
Oh yeah, I completely skipped the doctor thing.
Yeah, man, you can't skip the doc. He's an OG. He's a homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the doc basically helps stitch him up, and unfortunately he runs out of time. So John just does it himself, basically.
Yeah.
But the doc helps him with like telling him where the medicine is, and he was like, "They're gonna know."
Yeah.
And so the doc gives John a gun and tells him where to shoot him on his body,
Yeah.
so that it looks
He's like,
you know, he
has to
fought
make it
back
look
and,
like he was forced.
yeah, or he was forced to, or like he tried to fight back, but John
Yeah.
just shot him up. But yeah, after that,
Yeah, after that, he obviously has some more run-ins with some other assassins, and probably maybe my favorite fight out of all three movies so far is in the room with all of the antique weapons.
yeah, the knives
Bro,
throwing.
sick.
Hell yeah. That was dope.
They go in there and like the first thing he does is like he takes two revolvers and like disassembles them and like mixes up the pieces to make a new gun.
Yeah, one of the revolvers, the casings didn't fit in basically the cartridge, so he had to switch out one of the cartridges into the other weapon so that the bullets would fit. But then like the thing is, like he did all that and he just shot one bullet out of it.
Yep.
And then, like left it.
He shoots one guy and then it's like, all right, done with that. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Like, okay, you could have loaded a few more, bro. But yeah, then he like gets into like this knife room and like he does some kung fu fighting with these dudes, and then like,
and they're like
they start like
smashing
throwing
each
knives
other
around,
against the glass and stuff. And then all you see at the same time, they both like they look at each other and then they look at the knives and then they're like,
They're like,
oh,
huh.
and then they're like smash their elbows in and start grabbing knives and stuff.
But like these dudes are just like throwing knives at you. Like at one point, John has like a random ass knife sticking in his shoulder, and like
Yeah.
he pulls it out and like throws it back at the guys.
Yeah, all of them are like expert knife throwers. Like it's crazy.
Like with like non-balanced knives, just like old ratchet shit.
And
just
there's
out
like
of the shelf.
and imagine like trying to like every single knife probably has a different weight and they're just like immediately like switching up their technique so that it still throws correctly.
I like low-key wish they could have put some comedy into that scene with like some knives just not working out, like the butt hits him in the head or something like that.
Yeah.
That might have been funny, but maybe they just wanted to keep it more serious.
But it was toit.
It was very cool.
And then towards the end, these two guys are like coming at him with these giant axes as well.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then he ends up killing them, and then one of the other knife guys is like sitting up, and from like across the room, John throws the axe and hits him in the head.
Yeah, like he like, you know, like as if you're in the axe throwing thing, he like holds it over his head and fucking just cocks it and tosses, and it hits the dude straight in the dome.
Yeah.
And he dies quite
Yep.
crazily. And then the next thing is like John's like running through like this horse carriage thing in like an Amish community where they keep all their horses.
I think it's the horses that they use for the carriages in Central Park.
Oh, is that what that was?
That's what it felt like to me.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, could have been that. But like, I guess it could have been the Amish horses too. Who knows?
But yeah, he's like using the horses as a weapon. Like he'll like slap its butt and make it kick someone.
He fucking kicks a dude's head. Like, holy crap. It was pretty insane.
Yeah. And then there's another interesting fight scene where he escapes that building on a horse, and then a bunch of people chase after him on motorcycles, and so it's like this horse motorcycle fight on a old highway,
which is like interesting. Like, I want to know how they filmed that, because there's no way that like the horse would be okay with motorcycles riding up next to it like that. I don't think.
I actually have I can, I guess, give away one of our trivia facts a little early here.
Okay.
But the horse that they used in that scene was specifically
CGI,
trained
right?
to not be spooked by loud noises like gunshots and motorcycle engines.
Really?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
You can train horses to be chill with like that? That's insane. Wow. I mean, this dude was like jumping all over the horse. Like, damn.
Yeah, it was a
John Wick also learned how to ride horses.
very well trained horse.
Yeah.
I think horse riding was actually something that Keanu Reeves already knew how to do before the movie.
That's insane. This man is something else. But yeah, he had a dope ass horse scene.
Yeah. And then he gets to like this it's like a bank, I think. And he has like a safety deposit box, and
this is the Amish community, right? It's like an Amish bank.
is it? I don't know. I didn't get any Amish vibes from it, but
Yeah, there's the dudes, and they like have like the little cap on with the curly hair and the beards.
Must have completely blocked that out. Sure, that I believe you.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he opens his safety deposit box, and it's like, because obviously his house got burned down with all of his, like, he had that huge chest that was buried in his basement with all of the coins and guns, and this one he has like one gun, like 5 coins, and like this weird what's it called, like a cross with like rosary beads on it.
Yeah, like a trinket.
Yeah.
And then he had one of the what's it called now? I forgot. Marker. He had like a marker.
Oh yeah.
Which is what we explained in the first one, that blood bond.
Yep.
So he had a marker. So someone out there, that's where you find out that someone out there owes him, and he might be needing it soon.
Yeah. Because I guess that the way that it works is like you give someone else your marker when they do you a favor. So
Right.
it's like,
Right.
hey, I'm going to give you this, and then if you ever need a favor in the future, then you bring the marker back to me, kind of a thing.
Right.
But they also, like I said, they talk about it a lot in the second movie, and they're like, it's not just like you owing me, it's like binding one soul to another or something like that. And, like, go really into it, and it's like it was a little much, but
Yeah. All right, dude. Back up. Too much info.
but yeah,
so he gets all that.
Again, introducing another artifact. And so in the first movie we got introduced to the coins, in the second movie we get introduced to the marker, and then in this movie we get introduced to this cross, which they call the ticket, which he takes to this theater where there's like a bunch of I guess Belarusi people. I don't know, what are people from Belarus called? Am I dumb?
I think you're right. Belarus people?
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe.
But there's like this like a ballet studio and like martial art. It's basically like all the like trope in movies where you see like the Russian assassin training, but then all of the assassins are also doing ballet for some reason.
Right.
This
they have
is
to be taught
basically
different life things, you know?
Yeah. And so John goes there, and the director is like talking to him, and like the same as everyone else. At first she's like, I can't help you, you've been excommunicated, all that stuff. And then he like talks to her for 5 seconds, and then she's like, all right, I'll help you.
Yeah, but I mean, apparently he's one of them. And
yeah, and his
the
real
cross
name
is
is
his ticket. She has to do it.
Jardani Jovanovic. And this is another thing that I didn't really like, is like taking away the mystery, is they like go into his whole backstory, and they're like, he's an orphan and he was originally from Belarus and he got raised with this company. And then I'm just like, we don't need to know all that.
True. Yeah. Again, went to a bit more depth. But I mean, I guess it's good because like I didn't quite understand what the ticket was or like how it worked. So
yeah, but I'd be fine with them. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't need the ticket.
Yeah, maybe the ticket was just too much. He could have just been like, you owe me, bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's like, I'm one of you and I still have my ticket, so you are like honor bound to like help me out or whatever. And I guess the way to redeem your ticket is they like put the cross, like heat it up, and then like brand you with the cross.
Yeah, they hold the cross upside down, and there's a tattoo on the back, which I'm guessing every one of them has, like the big cross.
Yeah, because the one of the ballet dancers on stage also had a similar tattoo.
Exactly. And so basically they burned it, and he's not a part of them anymore, and he's not allowed to go back home, quote unquote home.
Yeah.
But yeah, so why did he use the ticket? Like, what did he do?
He just needed to get out of New York. He was trying to get to Casablanca.
Yeah.
Because he had someone he needed to talk to. And this is where we find Halle Berry is in this movie. Her character's name is Sophia, and she is the one whose marker John has. And so he goes to her and presents her with the marker, because Santino, who had John's marker, got the marker by helping John complete the mission that let him retire. So that was the favor that he did. And John got Sophia's marker by helping her hide her daughter in order to keep her safe.
Right. Right.
So yeah, and so he goes back there, and they also of course have a Continental, and she is the manager of that location. And honestly, super cool hotel. It's like they have this giant open courtyard, and there's like just people partying like all the time.
Yeah. 24/7 party house.
But yeah, he presents her with the marker, and obviously she doesn't want to do it, but just like John, you can't back out of a marker. So
Right. Right. Although she wanted to.
yeah. And she helps him track down, I forget what his name is, but it's someone who like is in charge of creating all of the gold coins.
Yeah. It was the leader of that Continental before her, and he said that he wanted to talk to him because he had some wisdom. So I don't think it had anything to do with like the maker of the coins. It just happened to be that that's where it was, right?
Well, no, it was that the person was in charge of making the coins, but he had some information that no one else was, because what
Right.
John ultimately wanted was to reach someone that they call like the elder, or like the one above the high table, because
Right.
up until this point they're like everything is under the table, blah blah blah, but apparently there's one guy that's above the table.
This one dude.
I don't know why.
They didn't explain that at all, though.
That's true. And
You
John's
wanted
like,
the mystery. There you go, baby.
yeah, I was happy with that, but John's like, I need to talk to that guy, and there's only one person I know that knows where he is, and that's the coin guy. And so he goes to the coin guy and is like, hey, I need your help reaching the elder. And they have a long conversation, and eventually he's like, well, I've done a favor for you guys by telling you how to reach him, and I expect something in return. And then like tries to take one of Sophia's dogs, and she's like, no, you're not taking my dogs. And then he like shoots one of them, and I don't know if he was like purposely trying to hit it in the vest, because both of the dogs have bulletproof vests on, but I feel like the angle that he was shooting from, I don't know how the fuck he missed. Like if he really wanted to kill one of those dogs, he could have easily shot it in the face.
Yeah.
But he
I don't
somehow
know.
hit it in the side.
Yeah. No clue. But she was very upset.
Yeah.
And she basically shot him and then told one of her dogs to attack him. And the dog was like biting his dick off.
Oh yeah, I was like tearing him apart.
Yeah.
And so obviously another huge gunfight breaks out. But basically the direction that he gave them, which I liked because it was keeping with
Super
the
vague.
mysteriousness, yeah, is go out to the desert and just keep walking until you're about to die, and then he'll find you.
Yeah. And he was like, follow this one star, like something in the sky.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what they did. And well, not they. She dropped him off, then he kind of walked it.
Yeah, she
and
like
gurgles his water and
gurgles
then
his
spits it
water
back
and
out.
spits it back in the bottle.
Disgusting. Absolutely putrid.
That
What a
was
jerk.
funny though. I mean, she was pissed at him.
Yeah, but you didn't have to go that far. I mean, he just kind of helped you and your dog survive a gun
Oh,
battle.
but also freaking the gun battle with the dogs, amazing.
It was, I don't know. I every time I saw the dogs like doing something, I could tell that it was like very much so staged. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. They were
all
you
the
could
dudes that the dogs were biting, you could tell that these guys were trained dog handlers, and they had like
Yeah.
the dog bite vest.
you could
thing
tell that
on.
they were like definitely like actor dogs. Like
Yeah,
they would
for
just like
sure.
grab one spot and then just tug at that one spot over and over again. And it was like never like grabbing at fleshy parts. It was like, oh, I'm gonna grab your sleeve or something like that.
Yeah,
But
or like the leg or something like that.
yeah, but just like the I guess the interplay between like going around a corner and shooting someone, and then I couldn't understand what words she was saying, but she would like call out commands while she's shooting, or like at one point she like had one of the dogs like jump off of her back to reach someone that was like high up on a ledge.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
Cool.
Definitely
Yeah, it was
not as fun as
similar.
the antique knife fight, but it was a fun sequence nevertheless.
Yeah. I do think though that it was maybe a little bit too long. But
Okay,
I mean,
I can feel that.
they did some cool things there.
Oh, and meanwhile, while all of this stuff is happening with John, we also get introduced to someone called the Adjudicator, who goes to the Continental
Yeah.
and is basically telling Winston, like, what the fuck happened? Why didn't you kill John as soon as he broke the rules?
Right.
And Winston's like, maybe.
My bad, homie.
And so she's like going around to everyone that's helped John and is like punishing them. And so for Winston, she's like, you have 1 week and then we're gonna replace you as the manager. And so figure shit out. And then she goes and visits the Bowery King, and she's like, you gave John 7 bullets, and so in like payment you get 7 cuts. And then there's like this scene where she goes to like a sushi bar, and then the like person cutting the sushi just happens to be like a super skilled ninja or some shit.
Honestly, like, I don't know, man. Okay, so this guy, he was introduced very mysteriously, but boy, is he a fucking fanboy of John Wick.
It was also super weird because when he was like running the sushi bar, he was like hardcore Japanese accent, and then the second she slips the coin, he's like, yo, what up?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
He like changed his accent, and he was like, oh, I didn't know I was going to be seeing one of you so soon.
Also, I do like the idea. This is another like thing that it's I guess the reason I don't like the explanation is because I feel like as an audience member, I like being trusted to figure shit out for myself. And so like with the
Yeah, but some people are dumb, bro.
That's true, but like that doesn't mean you should treat everyone like they're dumb.
Well, you know, a few million
And so
people
like
are gonna
with
be
the
watching
with the
movie.
Adjudicator, like rather than having gold coins, there's like a black coin that like has a specific logo on it. And so I guess like the idea would be that, like, how I understood it at least, is like for everyone else you give a gold coin and you just like you have to have a bunch of gold coins because you just like I said, for anything that you need you give someone a gold coin. But for the Adjudicators, it seems like they only have to carry the one, because every time she like slides it to someone, they just like look at it and then she takes the coin back. So
yeah,
it's like
it's basically just like a sheriff symbol.
yeah, it's just like, hey, this is just here so that you know who I am.
Right. Like, don't fuck with me, baby.
Yeah. And so yeah, the sushi guy gets hired to help her punish all these people, and the sequences that you see of like him and all of his guys like infiltrating these places are freaking dope. Like there are so many scenes of like people will literally just be like hiding in the shadows, and like one of the guys steps around a corner and then they like stab him, then they like didn't even see that he was there.
Yeah, kind of wild.
Yeah,
these guys are ninjas, actuals.
But yeah, they cut the fuck out of the Bowery King, and I'm honestly like to skip a little bit towards the end here, but I'm very surprised he didn't die, because that was a lot of blood.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like, I don't think they wanted him to die. They basically just said like 7 cuts.
Yeah,
right?
but it looked like he died in that scene.
It did. It definitely did. Yeah. They fucked his shit up.
Yeah, they did. And then they do the same thing with the ballet director. They go there and they're like, swear your fealty again, and she like puts her hands together and sticks them out, and then Ninja Guy literally like stabs through her hands. It's just wild.
Yeah,
they just fucking everyone's shit up.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, the way they were displayed at the beginning, like when they were first introduced, was so much more badass than what they were at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Oh, because obviously that's another thing that I think I didn't like so much, is they're like doing such an amazing job of being like so sneaky and killing everyone, and then I feel like 90% of them, like when they fight John at the end, are like kind of lame. There were a couple guys that were like, they definitely beat the fuck out of John and could have killed him several times.
Definitely could have killed him multiple times. Yeah,
but they kept stopping and they were like, oh my god, it's such an honor to fight with you, and like we're just having so much fun. And to be fair, John didn't kill them either. He knocked them down and he was like, nah, it's fine.
That's very true. He was like, you know, I'll see you guys around.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, thank God, and like followed it, basically. So definitely like a professional courtesy there. But then when he fought, you know, Big Daddy-O,
I believe his character's name is Zero.
Zero? Okay. Yeah, when he fought Zero, they weren't fucking around.
I don't know, I kind of hate that he's such a fanboy. Like they get to the Continental and they're like sitting there and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm just like such a big fan of your work, and I'm like, bruh. It was so
I mean,
dumb.
it was kind of fucking cringe, not gonna lie. It was a little much.
And then at the
But
end, he's like, that was a good fight, right?
yeah, and he was like, I'll be seeing you around, John. He's like, no, you won't. And
Yeah,
then he
he's
fucking
like
dies.
definitely gonna die.
Yeah. John didn't like this guy, I don't think.
Oh, I will also say, I loved when the adjudicator goes to visit the Bowery King, and it was like, oh, for your punishment for 7 bullets is 7 cuts, and his response is, sometimes you gotta cut a motherfucker.
Wait, say what?
I was saying when the adjudicator goes to visit the Bowery King
Yeah.
and tells him, as payment for the 7 bullets that you gave John, your punishment is 7 cuts.
Days. Wait, was it the cut one or the? Yeah, it was the cuts. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, it was like you get 7 cuts, and he just says, sometimes you gotta cut a motherfucker.
Yeah, he did say that. I love his character, honestly. Like, he basically was like, yeah, I'm the king. I'm gonna keep staying the king. Fuck you guys
Yeah.
at the high table, bro.
He was like,
do your
you're
thing."
not replacing me. Come on.
Yeah. And like, they didn't, like, they fucking cut his shit up, and at the end of the movie, you're like, oh fuck, like, he has this little kingdom underground now. Like he said, like,
Yeah, he's like, he was already underground, but now he's like underground.
underground, like actually underground. He's like, you do things from under the table, Good to know.
Yeah. I also a tiny moment, and honestly not even that big of a problem, but there was a part where when he goes back to the Continental and Winston, because okay, so sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves because we stopped for the adjudicator stuff, but John Wick went out to the desert and he found the guy, and
Yeah, that guy was kind of boring, not gonna lie. The whole
the
scene
guy
was lame.
was like, hey, if you want your excommunicado to be reversed, you have to kill Winston, and then you can have your life back.
Not only
and-
that, he had to fucking chop his finger off.
yeah, and he had to chop his finger off.
Like, the whole rest of the movie, his left hand had no ring finger, bro. As payment, he gave the guy his ring. It made no sense to me. I was
Yeah,
very
his
confused.
wedding ring.
I was very confused. I guess that was him, like, showing his, like, that he is more
Yeah, he
valuable than his wife.
belongs to the table now.
Yeah, which literally 10 minutes later he said, fuck the table, bro.
Yeah. So he goes back to the Continental, and Winston is like, hey, I know they sent you here to kill me. But also I don't want to give up the hotel, and I think you should help me.
Yeah, and then he gives him the gun. He said, look, it's your choice. However, if you kill me, then you're basically going to be the high table's bitch forever and die a bitch, versus like fighting and like not giving up your identity for your wife and, whatever, whoever you think you are.
Yeah.
And then the adjudicator comes in and they're both like, yeah, fuck you. So
Right.
we'll deal with it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna be sending some people your way, so get ready.
And I mean, she did. She fulfilled her promise. She sent some of the best. Is what she said.
And Winston's like, all right, what do you need? And John goes, guns. Lots of
guns.
And because that's the exact same line he uses in the Matrix, and it felt a little cheesy to me, but
I didn't notice it, but makes sense. Yeah. But dude, the high table SWAT team shows up in like these 2 massive buses, and these dudes are basically dressed up like little juggernauts.
Yeah, they all have like completely bulletproof armor, and John figures it out pretty quick, and he like sticks his pistol like up under their helmet.
Under a helmet, yeah, or behind the neck.
Yeah. But I also will say one of the things that I also noticed is because so John is fighting, and then Karen, the concierge, joins the fight as well, which I thought was really badass. But then there's also like 6 other guys that just like show up out of nowhere to help them.
Yeah, and they get fucking mowed down like immediately.
And I'm just like,
that made no sense.
Yeah, so I noticed like, all of the SWAT guys are like completely bulletproof, but every time John shot one of them, they like recoiled a bit or like fell down, and it like gave John a second to like reload or like figure something else out. But I think
that's because like they were showing when he was getting the guns that he has like this super fucking high velocity bullet.
Yeah,
right?
but that's what I'm saying, like, why, if I knew that we were going to be going up against the toughest people that the table can send our way, everyone should have that strong of a gun. Like, why
Yeah,
did those other
true,
6
but
people have such bitch ass guns?
true. I don't know, man. They just didn't group up at the beginning, I guess. They just kind of
Because they
came
were
in
like,
and tried to help.
because every time those guys shot one of them, it was like they literally didn't even flinch. Like, it was just
Yeah.
bouncing off of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so they got fucking destroyed, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, like this big old massive fucking fight happens, and like they turn the lights green, and
Yeah.
you know,
And
I
then
don't know, it was pretty
Winston's
cool. It was
hiding in
alright.
like an old school vault.
Yeah.
And then they go back in there and they're like, okay, fuck, these guys have like really strong armor. We need better weapons.
We
and
need
then
bigger guns.
They both go out there with fucking massive shotguns.
That have like the ammunition is armor piercing, so
Yeah.
it just goes straight through the helmets, through the body
And
armor,
you
everything.
were talking about the like extra blood in the second movie, but this one,
This
freaking,
one, yeah.
he is like blowing their heads off.
Yeah. Like another good question would be like, how many gallons of fake blood did they use in this movie?
I don't know. I'm wondering like how much of it was practical and how much was like
Real.
digital blood.
How much was real blood?
How much was real? How much people did they actually murder?
Yeah. It's Hollywood, dude. You never know.
Oh, speaking of, sorry, we'll get back to the movie in just a second, but got a bit of Hollywood news here. Did you hear about the accidental shooting on the Alec Baldwin movie?
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, Chad Stahelski, the John Wick director, like talked about it. And said that he said he feels like there's no reason to ever have a live firearm on set. He said, we can create cities and spaceships and Godzilla and all these things. We have the technology to do the same with firearms, but for the last
Right.
100 years, Hollywood has been using real firearms, and for prop houses, armorers, or supply houses to switch over, it would make their entire stock of real firearms useless. It comes down to the fact that it would cost certain people a great deal of money to switch over, and no one wants to say that, but that's the real reason. You don't need
Really?
real firearms. The alternative is just going to cost you more money.
Wow. Well, so they're like risking people's lives though, just because of money again, dude.
Yeah. And so he's
So
basically saying, like,
typical.
I've literally made all of these John Wick movies, and people are like point blank getting shot, and we've never had an accident because they're not using real guns. He's like, there's no reason you need to use real guns. It's just the industry is so old that people don't want to switch over, because otherwise all of the people who have those real guns are going to go out of business.
That's insane. I mean, dude, that's like the gun lobby all over. That's just the gun lobby inside Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, like, holy cow. I can't imagine the amount of warehouses that are full with actual weapons
Yeah.
that Hollywood has. Dude, imagine going into like one of those warehouses on accident and there's just fucking cannons and
That'd be
AK-47s and
wild.
like, oh my God. The only thing that's missing is like actual bullets. Like,
Yeah, there's
Oh.
I've seen so many, even like
Holy cow.
YouTube videos of people who will like make pretty convincing like muzzle flashes and stuff, like
Yeah, I mean, it just
on their
takes a little bit of
computer at
work.
home. Like yeah,
yeah.
there's I completely agree with him there though. There's like there should never be any reason you need an actual weapon on a movie set.
No, I agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. Makes no sense.
But anyway, bit of a tangent there, but
Yeah. A good tangent.
just brought it up because it had to do with the director.
Yeah. Where were we?
The huge gunfight when they had the shotguns and they were blowing people's heads off.
Yeah, so basically all that happened, and then it was like the final boss fight basically, which is what we talked about earlier, where he was fighting like the kung fu dudes.
the ninja guys.
Yeah.
I will say, I thought Zero, I felt like his fanboyness was really cringe, but those
I
other
thought
two,
it was funny at some
but
point,
those
though, because,
those
like,
other two dudes, I thought like they were kind of cool. Like they kept knocking him
Yeah,
down, and they were
that's
like,
true.
"Man, he's getting kind of slow, isn't he?"
he was like, well, he's been out of it for 5 years, bro. Like, come on.
And they kept trying to help him up, and at one point he's like, "No, I don't need your
I
help."
got this. And they're like, okay. I don't know, but before those guys, it was like, the smaller pupils of, this fanboy guy. But like when he beat them, he like looked up through the glass ground above him, and like you could see him clapping and like giving
Yeah.
him a thumbs up. And that was a little bit funny. That was good.
It was
I was
so
like, what
weird.
the fuck is going on right now? He's like fighting different boss levels, trying
Yeah.
to get to the main dude. But Yeah, after he asked John if that was a pretty good fight, John was like, "No, go fuck yourself," basically, and he died. And then they went and met the what's that
Adjudicator.
lady's? Huh?
The adjudicator.
Yeah, they went and met the adjudicator again, and basically it was like they want
they
to
had a parlay.
reinstate. Yeah, they had a parlay. They wanted to reinstate the Continental.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
However,
because it got deconsecrated, which means
Right.
the rules don't apply anymore. So you can
Right.
kill people on that Continental.
yeah, and like everyone checked out when that happened, right? Except
Yeah, they had
for,
like a
you know,
huge
those
announcement.
three.
They were like, "Attention, all guests, get the fuck out of here."
This is about to be a war zone. Yeah. But yeah, so they were trying to figure out how to get the Continental reinstated because they were basically, she was like, well, what are we gonna do about John Wick?
Yeah.
And Winston fucking takes out his gun and shoots him a few times, and
Yeah,
he like falls over the rail.
immediately, he was like, they were like, "Well, what are we gonna do about him?" And Winston looks at John and he was like, "Well, he's gotta die," and immediately shoots him. Like, didn't give him a second thought. But you could tell,
so,
you could tell he was like not really trying to kill him, because obviously like he could have shot him in the head, but he shoots him in his bulletproof suit that he knows is bulletproof.
Right. But like, dude, the fall and him hitting like the railings and shit, that would
Oh
have
my
killed any
God.
other regular person.
Absolutely no. That fall, John Wick should 100% be dead.
Yeah, it was like what, 5 stories plus he hit railings on the way down and then the hard
Yeah.
ground. Like, come on.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
That was
But, I mean,
definitely
granted,
the least realistic part of any of these movies.
Yeah, granted, he didn't get up afterwards. He was basically put in a wheelbarrow and wheelbarrowed to none other than the Underground King.
The Bowery
I don't know
King.
his name.
That's okay.
Yes.
I was waiting to see if you could remember it.
Nope. I was waiting for you to fill that in for me. I was looking at my microphone. I was like, is he gonna say anything?
No, I knew that's what you're waiting for, and that's why I didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but he basically brought him to the Underground King, which is what we talked about earlier. And the Underground King had a Fanta drink, I believe.
Yeah,
So I
he's
guess they're
drinking orange
sponsored by-
Fanta.
Yeah, he was. I guess they're sponsored by Fanta. I'm sure that was a nice little payday. And he
yeah.
was like, "John, are you pissed off?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pissed off." That was really it. That was the movie.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, I think pretty solid. Like you said, I think I like this one better than the second one. It still has a bit of a problem for me in that there are times when they explain a little too much, but the action's a lot better in this one than the second one. I feel like,
Yeah. For sure. Although less people died somehow.
yeah, I don't know, that's weird, but it could also be like, I feel like maybe more people died, but I think John Wick killed less people, because there was also a lot of people that died from like the ninjas killed a lot of people,
True.
and like
Yeah.
Halle Berry killed some people.
Right. That's true.
But yeah, pretty fun, and I'm definitely excited to go see the fourth one. I also, during our time off, I saw 2 movies that I had not seen before. One old movie, one new movie. I saw on our way back from New York, I watched The Departed, which was fun. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I don't think I have, no.
It's an older movie. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon.
Okay.
It's like a Irish gang movie. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty good movie. And then just recently I saw the new Dungeons and Dragons movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a fun time.
Yeah, you said that was a really good movie, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
I haven't seen any, honestly, I haven't seen any like recent movie.
Yeah, you've been busy taking care of your sister. So
Yeah, I've been kind of not watching anything.
Yeah.
The only thing that I did get is a Nintendo Switch, and I've been playing Zelda like crazy.
Oh, bro, I need to play more Zelda. I got Zelda like 2 years ago, and I feel like I'm not even a quarter of the way done.
Wait, what? Where are you at? Do you know? Do you remember?
Couldn't even tell you. It's been so long
Dang.
since I've played it.
Bro, within a week, I've already like gotten all of the 4 ancient, whatever the hell you want to call them, dudes on my side, and like I battled all like the main bosses except for the main one. Actually, I battled the main one before I got any of the, the old ancient technology ones on my side, and I beat the first version of him in half of the second. So
Damn.
I almost like Yeah, dude, I almost like beat the game without like actually even playing the game. Just like me
That's
dodging and playing shooters.
absolutely wild.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I told my sister's girlfriend and she was kind of like really impressed. She was like, "What the fuck?" She's had the game for 2 years and I'm already like way ahead of her than I like within a week.
Yeah, I mean, you're way ahead of me too, and I've also had the game for 2 years.
Yeah. Oops. It's a fun game though. It's definitely a big adventure game.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our chapter 3 trivia.
Let's
Our
do it.
first piece here says Halle Berry broke 3 ribs while filming.
Whoa. Where? When?
Don't know. Something happened.
What the hell?
She's going hard.
Be careful.
It says here, Keanu Reeves says that Halle Berry was 100% committed to the training for this movie. She not only had to learn martial arts and weapons, but also spent 6 months learning how to train dogs because her
Holy
character has 2
shit.
Malinois. It says she spent 3 hours a day, 4 days a week with the dogs doing drills in order to form a bond. And the film's dog trainer told Keanu Reeves that the dogs treat Halle as their trainer now.
No way. Wow.
It says this
I
was.
wonder what happened after the movie though. Do you think she was able to keep the dogs as her own?
I think Halle Berry already has her own dogs, so she probably didn't.
What the
keep them.
fuck? That's insane. Like the poor dogs, that's like emotional abuse to them. Like they grow this bond with this human and then all of a sudden like the human's gone. Like later.
Well, I
bro,
mean,
thanks.
I'm sure they still had a bond with their original trainer as well.
Maybe, but didn't you just say the dude treated her more as a trainer than him?
I mean, yeah, but if she's gone, obviously they're gonna revert back
Yeah,
to
that's
their
true.
previous trainer.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But it says usually on films when they work with animals, the trainer is like just off frame giving commands. But because Halle Berry could command the dogs herself, it gave the filmmakers a lot more freedom in terms of how the scenes were shot.
Oh wow, that's really fucking
Because
cool.
they didn't have to like hide a trainer somewhere. They were just like
Uh-huh.
Halle Berry was actually giving them commands while they were filming.
Yeah, I noticed that the dogs were like super paying attention to her.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Very
It
cool.
was super cool. Chad Stahelski, the director, in case anyone doesn't recognize his name by now, said one of the difficulties about filming in Morocco is that there was at least 1,000 feral cats roaming the city streets. The production hired 30 cat wranglers and built housing for the cats. They would feed the cats at night and then set them free in the morning.
No fucking way. That is so sick and sweet. I love that. Let's go.
They're like, damn, there's a bunch of cats. It's going to be hard to film. Oh, well, let's just capture them all and give them some dinner.
We'll make him a house. We'll build him a house while we film. Not a big deal. That's adorable. I love that.
Unity Felon? I don't really know how to pronounce her last name, but the principal dancer in the film, who is actually the ballet dancer who was on stage when John talks to the director the first time.
Yeah, she keeps falling.
Yeah. She said she enjoyed how the movie gives the audience a peek into the ballet world. She said, I'm especially excited to see ballet depicted as being as intense of an art form as martial arts warrior training. Ballet is not only physical but mental, so it's really cool to see it as part of the history of John.
Yeah, bro. Like when they gave you that one scene with the girl peeling her toenail off. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Wild. Couldn't be me. I've always known that shit was brutal as hell.
Yeah. The adjudicator has a neck tattoo that I'm sure I probably can't pronounce, but it's a German word.
I didn't even. I tried to read it. I couldn't. There was never a good point where I could see it. What does it say?
Here, I'll text it to you so I don't embarrass myself.
Oh gosh. What if I don't know, bro?
Oh, that would be really embarrassing.
Do you know what it means in English?
It says it means empathetic.
Oh, okay. Oh, einfühlsam. Yeah, einfühlsam. So fühl is like feelings, and ein is like I guess one and or like your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like your own personal emotions. Yeah, empathetic.
Gotcha.
Empathy. Einfühlsam. Cool.
Yeah, that was
Is that like a real tattoo, or is that just like something they did for the movie?
I don't know, actually. It could have just been for the character.
Why would they need an empathy tattoo on their neck?
Maybe just
She's
just
not
one of those-
empathetic. She's like telling the people to fuck off and like give them life sentences. Like what?
Well, listen, it's a character building. Sometimes you don't know what people's backstories are.
True. That's a good one. I like that.
Give you a chance and see. I don't know. Since you have, do you still have 2 motorcycles, or did you end up getting rid of the first one?
I have 2.
Okay. Are you still planning to get rid of the first one, or are you just keeping both of them?
I'm still planning to get rid of one.
Okay.
My old school one.
Why? Do you recognize the motorcycles that they had during the chase scene with the horse?
I'm not a big, I'm like not a big like street bike guy. So no, not really.
Gotcha.
I think those were Hondas, but I could be wrong.
It says here that the motorbikes used in that chase scene are Yamaha MT-09s.
Those are MT-09s?
That's what it says.
Dude, I think my coworker has like an MT-03 or 4, one of the intro ones. MT-09, really? What's the CC on that? Hold on. They're like, if this is the bike I'm thinking of, they're like really good intro bikes. MT-09. Okay, no. Yeah, this is the upgraded one. Very cool. Yeah, this is not the beginner bike. My buddy at work has the beginner one. I think it's like an MT-04.
This is the first movie in the series not to feature a song by Le Castlevania, which of course, like I mentioned in
Second
chapter
one.
2, was the DJ that was making all the music, but they apparently didn't make the music for this one.
Why not?
Don't
What happened
know.
to their contract?
I don't know.
Drama.
And then our final piece of trivia here says, to encourage the dogs to attack the correct area, the actors playing the henchmen were required to smother their scrotal areas in a mixture of fish sauce and peanut butter.
What? Oh my god.
They also wore multi-layered ballistic Hessian underpants for protection.
Oh yeah, of course, dude. Imagine a dog fucking full force biting you.
Yeah, there
Hell
was a
no,
lot
brother.
of crotch biting in this movie.
A lot. Like, I wouldn't want to be one of those guys and have this thing go wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Yikes. Very cool.
But yeah, that's chapter 3.
That is chapter 3.
Was there anything else you wanted to say about either of these two movies?
No, dude, I think we literally went through everything that I had noted.
Perfect. All right. Well, then I suppose I will start by mentioning we do have an email.
Whoa. Would you look at that?
From
the email that we want to mention.
An email from a Mr. Matthew Wakeland.
Okay. Hello, Matt. Hello, Mr. Wakeland.
The first line here, I don't know. It either says what the fuck is up, and then it either says Dennis or Denny's.
What?
I don't know.
No idea. I'd have to ask.
Does that mean anything to you?
No.
What the fuck is up, Denny's?
No, I have no idea what that is.
All right.
What if that was like a mistype?
Matt says this is movie Matt, Luca's friend from Sun and Ski of Arlington.
Hell yeah.
And a longtime listener, first time write-in. He says, first of all, love listening to you both talk movies. I admit I listen late most of the time and I play catch up on long road trips and walks with the dog. But I finally decided to write in. I always end up wishing I was part of the discussion, especially amongst the Marvel movies, because I'm a huge fan of those. So today I've decided to write in with my review and hope you'll take a second to read it. This is about our Black Panther Wakanda Forever episode.
Okay.
He says, I don't have a ton to add, but I wanted to say I'm kind of leaning with Cayman on this one, borderline bad. Point 1 says, Namor's dialogue to me is absolute shit. If he didn't have a single written line in the movie, I would increase my rating by 1 point.
I'm dead.
Point 2 says, I don't mind Shuri as the Black Panther. And then in parentheses put, isn't this a comic thing at some point too? Yes, in the comics, Shuri does eventually become the Black Panther. My problem isn't necessarily with Shuri, the character. I just am not a huge fan of Letitia Wright, but also, I don't know, it's a little bit of both, but...
So you're racist. You can't believe this.
No. Matt continues. He says, I would have liked it if they made her more of a technical fighter to show that, yeah, she doesn't have the size and physique for MMA combat, but she fights smart.
I mean, she was a scientist, so...
Yeah. But I feel like when she was in the Black Panther costume, she was just like normal fighting, not really like scientist fighting.
I feel that. That's true. They definitely should have made her fight more nerdy. I don't know how you do that, but you know...
Point 3 says, the big huge moment we were waiting for, Shuri to cross her arms and yell Wakanda forever, delivering the final blow to Namor, was like one single little frame out of the 60 frames per second I would assume they're shooting in that got drowned out by the plane explosion at the end. This moment should have been bigger, a second more drawn out, and it would have increased my rating.
Damn.
And then it says, lastly, I feel like this movie took a step backwards when it comes to CGI. Obviously, it's unrealistic what is occurring, but I feel like other movies did so much better at the CG, making the fake look real. This looked fake. The biggest reference I remember is where there's a plane crashing in the city of Wakanda badly.
God, what do you think about that?
So there actually has been a like it's leaked. Well, I don't even know if it's necessarily leaked. There's been reports recently that Marvel is actually like doesn't treat their digital artists very well.
Oh,
Like they
no.
give them like very short timelines, and they'll be like last minute changes, and they're like, hey, instead of doing this, can we do this other thing? But then like they don't change the deadline, so it's just like there's a good reason why a lot of the CG in recent Marvel movies has not been as good. And it's because they're just not giving people enough time to do it correctly.
Well, I totally get that from a production standpoint. Being someone that does production for, you know, architecture, we know what deadlines are like. I'm sure most people do. If you want quality work, you're gonna have to, you know, put the time in for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good point, Matt. Good point.
He continues on saying, I agree with you on a bunch of other points. Namor's underwater civilization was lame, Ramonda's death was out of left field, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, although I assume she'll play a big role at some point, has annoyed me every single time she has appeared. Here's to her role's quick death.
Razor glass.
Again, love y'all show. Inspiration will come to write in another movie Matt review soon. And Luca, you'll be happy to know that I've actually used the email instead of just texting you thoughts about the episode.
That does make me really happy, bro. Thank you, Matt. I do appreciate that. I'd love the feedback. I love the email for sure.
Yeah. He says, P.S. I would love a hint of what movie is going to be on the next review at the end of each episode so I can watch it before your podcast comes out and I can have a fresh view.
Oh.
And I think that's definitely something we could start incorporating, a little bit of behind the scenes, but there have definitely been a couple episodes that I didn't know what we were going to do before we did it. So.
True.
But,
I guess if we have a plan, we can let them know. Like after this movie.
Okay, let me think. I can
come watching John Wick 4, right?
Come up with a plan. We could watch John Wick 4 if you're willing to do it. We haven't done a theater review in a while because obviously it's a little bit harder trying to like go see a movie and then remember everything and write down notes because I don't want to I hate trying to do notes while I'm in the theater.
Yeah, it's fucking
But like
terrible.
we've done it before. It's possible.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, that's tough.
But yeah, we could do chapter 4 next week.
Yeah, we should look into it.
All right. So Matt, if you're listening, go see chapter 4.
Hey Matt, thank you so much for that email. Love the feedback. That definitely brought up quite a few good points that I didn't even think about. And yeah, I've always known you were a big old Marvel head. But you know, maybe we'll go back to him for sure at one point. So yeah. Thank you much for the email, bro. Love you much.
For all of our other listeners, if you would like us to read out your messages, first of all, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. We can also read out your reviews if you want us to. Tell your friends and family about us. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CashFanPod. And if you want to send us a message, you can do so on either of those platforms, or you can send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com. Links for all of that stuff will be in the description. And we'd just like to say thank you for everyone who has sent us a message so far, and looking forward to some more.
Truly. Thank you much.
Luca, do you want to get wrecked?
Let's do it.
All right. I think my recommendation for this week, because I don't know, this may change in the future. We'll see if we have a bunch of dead time and need to fill it in. But right now, I don't think we need to do a whole episode about the Dungeons & Dragons movie. But for any listeners, if you have ever played Dungeons & Dragons, or you're thinking about it or into it, or even if you like don't really play, but you like kind of just know what Dungeons & Dragons is, I would definitely recommend seeing the movie. It's really solid. I think, especially for people that do know a little bit about the game, it like the movie feels very game-like. And I'm not sure a better way to describe that for people that don't understand, but like when you're watching the movie, you can imagine in your head like all of the characters in the movie being players, like playing the game.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can watch that. Well, that's a good rec. I'm gonna do 2 recs just because one's gonna be a food and one we've kind of already talked about.
All right.
I am not the games that I usually play are PC games, and I mean back in the day PS3, all that jazz,
Yeah.
Xbox. But with that Nintendo, dude, Legend of Zelda is a great game, and I know they're coming out with a new game here soon.
Yeah, this one is what's it called? Well, that's how long it's been. I don't even remember what game it is. What you've been playing it recently? What's it called?
I have no fucking clue. I just know it's Legend of Zelda.
There's so many Legend of Zelda games.
idea.
Though.
Oh, God,
Breath
what
of
is
the
it
Wild.
called? Yes, that's what it is. Great game. The graphics in it are beautiful. I think that it's extremely well made. The characters are well made. The storyline is well made, and it's like an open adventure kind of thing, so you can do things out of order, which is what I love about it. You don't have to follow like a linear line. The second thing is a candy, because I love my gummy bears. Mostly everyone that listens to this probably has had a Haribo, as you guys would say, or Haribo, as you would say in German.
Fucking favorite.
So good. Now, my favorite ones of the Haribo are the Tropi Fruity. TROPIFRUTTI.
I'm assuming that's short for tropical.
Yeah, tropical fruits basically.
Or like
trop fruity.
Pineapple, coconut kind of flavors.
Yeah, dude, amazing. I absolutely love that that type of Haribo. So if you guys like Haribo and you've never had that one because it's extremely hard to find, I can only buy it off Amazon. Give them a try and let us know what you think. Those are my recs.
Cool beans. This has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.